What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So, welcome to Monday's episode. This should be, I think this is 321. Don't quote me on that. So, but I think I got it this time. It clicked. Definitely continue to tune in to the podcast. So Monday and Tuesday are our topics, where we discuss something that came up in the news. Wednesday is our discussion, where we get kind of a deeper dive into something that that's come up or something we want to talk about in general. And then Fridays we talk about everything else. So I've been told that a lot of people start with Friday and they're like, "What is your show about?" It's about the stuff Monday through Wednesday. And then Friday we unwind and we talk about movies, books, games, and things of that nature. So definitely continue to listen in. And without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article is actually from darkreading.com. It's by Jai Vijayan. I hope I'm saying your name right there, Jai. Biden's cybersecurity strategy calls for software liability, tighter critical infrastructure security. So the White House, right? So the current administration been very big on cybersecurity, and it's a good thing to see, right? But I'm not going to sit here and say it was something they always came in with, like, yeah, this is something we need to do, or because of the experiences they've had while they've been in office, to where it's kind of forced them to take notice of this. And even in the previous administration, there were still things to deal with, but neither here nor there, right? So the new plan that they have, right, it's got a proposed minimum security requirement for critical infrastructure, right? And what they're trying to do is they're trying to shift liability for like different cyber attacks and ransomware requests, I guess you could say, from the software products, right, themselves to the vendors, right? So they're pretty much saying, hey, vendors, you guys need to do better with what you're doing and how you're conducting cybersecurity, right? So when you think about it, like under this current administration, like they've had all types of critical infrastructure be attacked, right? Whether it be gas, whether it be water, hospitals, even, right? They've had medical things that have happened to where this is something that they feel they need to focus on, and I agree with, right? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to build like a collaboration to where they can the EPA actually kind of controls this. The EPA is out there like helping critical infrastructure, the sector, with different things to say, okay, look, because you're anything that happens for you is widespread, like we need to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to help you, right? So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm glad that they're doing it, you know what I mean? But it's one of those things where how far are they really going to go with it, right? So them holding vendors accountable for software security, like what are going to be the repercussions of this if they don't hold up to their end of the bargain, right? Because it could be one of those things where you need to stay on top of them whenever they're already in the fold, right? So if for whatever reason you have, let's just say Colonial, right? So Colonial Pipeline, we had the issue with them. If for whatever reason they say, okay, yes, we certify you're good from this point to this point, right? Let's say it's a 2-year time frame. If they don't do anything within that 2 years, or if something happens within that 2 years, like I want to see the guidance to say what are the downfalls from that, right? Like what's going to happen to them if they don't hold to it? Because it's like I hate to say this, right, but it's like some of the inspections I've seen, right, to where people, they pass an inspection and then they know they're not getting one for another 2 years. So what happens in that 2 years, right? They get lax, right? They don't have to worry about it until 3 months before they know their next inspection is coming, right? And that's not what I want to see from this. So like holding the vendors accountable, like I like it, right? And the way they're going to do this, the way they're going to try to incentivize them is going to be different tax breaks and things like that, right? So incentives, clean energy initiatives they mentioned in the article, I believe it's clean offers. Let me see here. Let's see if I can find it. Corporate mindsets from a security means penalties to a security means attaining rewards mentality. So yeah, they're going to give them different incentives and whatnot to do what they need to do. But yeah, I mean, I like it that they're going down this road. But again, is it because they're in they just happen to be the administration that's sitting there when all these bad things happen? You know what I mean? Or is it really one of those things where they thought it was a true priority? But Yeah, it's a good thing, and this is something we brought up several times before. So it's not like this is the first time the administration has gone on to this, right? There have been different executive orders and things like this to address it, because this is the way of the future. This is the war of the future, right? Is people going in, they're gonna shut down your computers before they come in and roll the tanks, right? That's just kind of how it goes, you know what I mean? But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I agree. I love to see it, right? Like you said, we're seeing the stair step, right? So a lot of it was like executive orders, and we're talking about it, we're having the conversation, and now it's becoming policy and governance. Um, I'm very optimistic about it, only because I think not only this administration, but the ones previous were also taking the stair step approach, like to try to figure out like how do we better secure our critical infrastructure, how do we get people motivated to do it, and the answer is incentives. The answer is tax breaks and money and things of that nature. That's what corporate sees, and then they can do something with that to and better their business, right? They're not going to just do it to be good citizens, at least not all the time. So I do like the whole carrot and stick mentality behind it, but more importantly, I think it's the conflict in Ukraine and Russia that's spurring it to be like, no, this is national defense. This is a national issue, and we need to get off the backs of our citizens, because time and time again, I feel um, users will always be that weak link forever. Like that will never change, right? So we cannot have them be the to carry this burden, because we will fall. Like there will be no power, there'll be no water. We'll be back in the stone age if we put it on the backs of our users to keep the network secure. Like they should be trained, they should be educated, all that good stuff. I get it, but um you can't rely on that to keep the bad guys out, especially not at the nation state level, right? Like these are people who are very talented and experienced. Like you might be able to stop somebody from um, the low ball ransomware, which is still could be millions of dollars, but it's not a matter of we want to cripple your infrastructure. So, like you said, we can start rolling tanks in to take over your country. And looking at you, Canada. No, I'm just playing.
Or
but
Mexico, or
or
Mexico.
Mexico. You never know. But no, so I think it's a great initiative, and I can see it like regardless of, because it's bipartisan, right? It's like, no, we this can't be about red or blue or anything like that. It's a matter of national security. Like we cannot allow another colonial pipeline, or like we mention all the time, JBS meat packing plant, or now we see Dole had to shut down for a couple of days. Um, like we can't allow this to continue to happen, because it will ruin us over time. Like we talk about Baltimore schools, and before then was Odessa and the first responders. Like this is happening on very low scale all the time.
Water
Um,
plants too. The water plants in
water plants. There was one in Florida where it was a what was it, RDP? There's somebody's using RDP to go in there and try to add more. It wasn't chlorine; it was a different product into the water to a poisonous level, right? Um, so it needs to be taken out of the hands of the common man and kind of be more restrictive and governed from the top down, to like make these companies want to do this, because A, we don't want to get to where we're currently at, but B, um, we don't want another colonial pipeline where people are putting gas in trash bags because they're so panicked, right? Um, that would be devastating, especially if it was longer than a few weeks. So I think it's a good initiative. I like it. I like to see it keep going and growing, and I'm sure, regardless of who's in charge in the administration, it will continue to become more robust and mature. That's what word I was looking for. It will continue to mature, so this becomes the way of the future. So, but that's all I have to say about that. Like, is that Forrest Gump line? So thank you for tuning into the episode. Again, tune in Monday, Tuesday, our topics, Wednesdays, our discussion, and then Fridays we talk about everything else. So we let our hair down. Me and Shannon have luscious locks. You should watch us on the video um, on Spotify, Apple, and Anchor FM, so you can see our lovely faces, our flowing beards. if you will. So definitely hit us up on all of our websites. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Clubhouse. Stay safe, stay secure.